We begin this Thursday with a major escalation in the war in Ukraine as Russia allegedly fires its first intercontinental ballistic missile of the war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky reporting the use of the weapon overnight, saying the speed and altitude of that missile matched that of an ICBM that was carrying a conventional warhead. Now, this has not yet been confirmed by the other international bodies, but the use of an ICBM would signal a major change in Russian war tactics, since the powerful rockets are meant to carry nuclear warheads. It's a chilling reminder of Russia's capabilities, especially coming just days after Russian President Vladimir Putin lowered the country's threshold for using nuclear weapons. And that change coming as a direct response to President Biden allowing U.S.-approved weapons to be used in Ukrainian counteroffensives. Let's bring in NewsNation's Kelly Meyer, who's live at the White House following all of this. And Kelly, President Biden now changing his stance on other weapons for the Ukrainians as well.
Yeah, and President Joe Biden has remained relatively silent since the election and until now working quietly behind the scenes to cement his foreign policy legacy to ensure that Ukraine has what it needs, at least until President-elect Trump comes in. And in just the last 48 hours or so, President Biden reversing some of his own policy positions, allowing the use of non-persistent anti-personnel landmines, which a U.S. official tells me will significantly enhance Ukraine's defensive capabilities, especially in the east. He also allowed the use of long-range missiles to strike within Russia, and the president also committing to spend the remaining $7 billion in presidential drawdown authority. That means weapons pulled from our own U.S. stockpiles to send weapons to Ukraine before Mr. Trump takes office. The Biden administration's latest actions not sitting well with the Kremlin. Today, Russia striking back on Ukraine, Kyiv claiming it launched an intercontinental ballistic missile on Ukraine. A U.S. official telling me moments ago that isn't true. The U.S. says Russia used an experimental medium-range ballistic missile, and that the U.S., we're told, briefed Ukraine and close allies and partners in recent days about Russia's possible use of this weapon to help them prepare. The distinction matters here because if used, the ICBM would be the first known use in the war of such a powerful nuclear-capable weapon. And just this morning, the Biden administration hit back again, this time with sanctions on Russia's largest remaining bank, not yet sanctioned by the U.S. The goal is to stop Russia from funding its war machine, and the administration's national security advisor saying this morning that the United States remains committed to putting Ukraine in the strongest possible position. Nichole.
So we know, Kelly, certainly about the U.S. commitment, but there's a top U.S. commander warning that the conflicts in Ukraine as well as the Middle East are really eating into our own stockpiles.
Yeah, and this is something the Biden administration has long said. They can support Ukraine and Israel and still defend the U.S. mainland, is what I've been told by officials here time and time again. But a top U.S. commander seems to think otherwise. The head of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command is warning that providing billions of dollars worth of air defenses to Ukraine and Israel is now affecting our ability to respond in the Indo-Pacific region, where he represents if China does, in fact, invade Taiwan. China has been ramping up its pressure against Taiwan, doing massive military exercises, even one involving 125 warplanes in October. The top commander telling a group in Washington this week that U.S. support elsewhere is now eating into stocks, and to say otherwise would be dishonest.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.